While speculations surrounding the INEC's chairman, Professor Atahiru Jega's removal seem to have been doused by President Jonathan's denial of such plan in the international media. But the APC's youth are not taken aback by Mr. President's promise. They are still protesting against any plan to remove the INEC chairman. Take a listen.
The measure that Jega had put in place will go a long way in making the process of our election a bit free and fair. And to all well-meaning Nigeria, it should be a welcome development. But as we can witness today, PDP had been the main opposition to this process. And that is the only process that can throw up the leader, the kind of leader that Nigerians are craving for. So we are in support of the process, and any move, as rightly pointed out by the leader, any move to remove Jega or any move they make not to allow the process of using the card reader and PVC will be opposed by Nigerian youth. We will not allow it, because for once we want to start a process that will throw up a leader that Nigeria can call their own.
As the All Progressives Congress continue to drum up an all-time crusade for change, what is the agenda of the APC for the masses? What difference will the APC be bringing to the security situation, economy, power generation in its redemption mission? We had a chat with the APC's National Auditor, Judge Moghalu. We began by asking him, why are the political parties deviating from an issue-based campaign? Take a listen.
We want to build a credible democratic culture. And when you're faced with situations like this, it calls for great concern. So I'm worried, and I know a lot of people are also worried. But let's see how it goes. But the truth about it is that it's not right.
Why is it difficult to have an issue-based campaign, including your own party, all the political parties who have been embroiled in abuses, hate speeches, and all that?
I really don't agree with you when it has to do with my party, the All Progressives Congress, APC, because if you look at our campaigns, we have consistently marketed our party and our program, and then the candidates we are presenting to Nigerians for the various offices we are asking them to support us to occupy. And we are very conscious of the expectations of Nigerians, and we have aligned ourselves strictly in that context. But you find out that, would I call it as a mark of extreme desperation? Some other parties, precisely the ruling party, has been consistent in their attack on the person and integrity of our presidential candidate and some other leaders of our party.
Well, I think we should look at this holistically, because your own party is on record that you attacked the spokesman of the PDP presidential campaign.
Yes, you see, Benga, you would have allowed me to finish, because yes, I agree with you. What we did, if you take the records very straight, you find out that we replied to series and series of hate campaign, series and series of blackmail, which we as a party considered a manifestation of extreme desperation. So we refused to get involved, to be drawn into that, because that is not what Nigerians are talking about now. Nigerians are talking about how do we improve the living conditions? What is APC coming to present to Nigerians concerning security, concerning corruption, concerning failed infrastructure? What is our program and our plans? And if you look at our party, we've been consistent in marketing our plans. We've been consistent in marketing our candidates based on their antecedents, based on their credibility, based on their character. So we've been consistent in doing this. That is why we have also appealed to other parties. This is supposed to be a game. From my own understanding and understanding the leadership of my party, this is a game. This is about the Nigerian people. It is not about individuals. It is about how do we improve the living conditions of the people? How do we bring in a tradition of decency in the art of governance?
Let's look at the major issues confronting this nation. And I believe that's where the manifestos should be channeled to, and that's employment. One of it is also insecurity. But let's start from employment. What's the APC's manifesto? What does it say about employment, unemployment, and how does the APC intend to tackle this issue?
We agree that one of the major, if not the prime problem of this country is unemployment. But you must also look at it from the perspective of how did it start? Where are we today? Where do we intend to be tomorrow? Today, we are churning out graduates from the universities who are unemployable. It's a consequence of our educational curricula. We have acute corruption that is affecting the entire economy to the extent that the resources of government is being frittered away into private pockets.
This conversation might also drag into another hate speech.
No, we've already said.
What difference?
No, good. That is
because
that is where I want.
The federal government has embarked on several employment schemes.
No, good. That is where I want to take you to.
What difference is the APC bringing?
No, that is where I want to.
What are you adding to the plate?
That is where I'm taking you to, because the point is that you must identify why it had happened before you now say this is what you intend to do. And that is why, if you check our campaigns, we've consistently said we're going to plug all the loopholes of corruption. One. And the moment you plug all the loopholes of corruption, resources will be available to government. We talked about massive industrialization to create an avenue to employ our people. We talked about addressing the issue of education curricula so that we can produce employable graduates.
Now, when you talk of massive industrialization,
yes,
mass industrialization,
yes,
how do you mean, and how do you intend to achieve that?
Fine.
Where do you intend to get the funds from?
Now, it gets back to the point we started with. When I said that issue of corruption is a cankerworm that is eating deep into the fabric of survival of this nation.
No, we must
now. Good.
Corruption has been defined.
Fine, we must block it. We must block it. And the moment you block it, the resources will be available to government.
Now, how do you intend to plug into this corruption leakages that you're talking about, different from what the federal government has done? Because now we could see the federal government even prosecuting the spokesperson of the PDP presidential campaign organization.
Why not?
Isn't that loud enough?
Why not? My leader, who is the presidential candidate for our party, is a man who has zero tolerance to corruption. And he has said it. One, you begin by the quality of people you appoint into government. You begin by blocking the wastages in government. You begin by checking expenditures that are not necessary.
Now, you also talked about plugging into the unnecessary expenditures in the economy. And it's also on record that federal government recently also plugged into a lot of foreign trips. They banned foreign trips and other expenses, saving millions of dollars in this process. So what difference would your party be bringing on plate?
Is it for the purposes of the election? Or is it a tradition that we want to sustain? What has happened in the past 6 years? When you are assessing an institution, when you are assessing a government, you have to take the line back. Are those issues coming up now because we have raised it as a major mantra in the course of the campaigns? That's the question you have to ask yourself. What has been the precedence in the past? We're in a situation where serving ministers have been accused of very fundamental corrupt activities. And these are very clear cases for Nigerians to see.
Are you suggesting that the PDP cannot sustain the momentum in terms of the changes that we are seeing?
Because it's bringing it now, because the issue has been brought to the fore. What has been the case in the past?
That the PDP or the federal government should continue with their shortcomings?
They will certainly return back to where they are. They will certainly return. Because what they are doing now is to dance to the tune as being played by APC on the issue of addressing the major cankerworm facing Nigeria, and that is the issue of corruption.
Let's examine the federal government's recent onslaught against the northern insurgents now. Are you not impressed about these
I am
changes?
impressed to the extent that I'm happy with the soldiers. What we are doing now, isn't it what my party has been saying we should have done in the past? Did we change soldiers? The answer is no. It is the same soldiers, the same Nigerian soldiers that performed creditably in Darfur, that performed creditably in Sierra Leone, that performed creditably in Liberia, is the same Nigerian soldiers. But the issue of equipping them, the issue of addressing their welfare, was placed at the back burner. But now the issues are being addressed. And you can now see what they've been able to do. And that's what my party has been saying. We've been saying that the proper position has not been taken by the federal government to address the issue of insurgency.
Let's now come to the issue of electoral violence. Now, what do you make of this issue? We've seen attacks in the north on the PDP campaign trail, and we've also seen what happened in Okrika.
We've made it abundantly clear that APC abhors violence. We abhor it, we preach against it as a party, we drum it into the ears of our leaders, even at the local government and ward levels. Don't get involved in violence. You cannot prove your point in a violent scenario. Get your PVC. Go to the polling point on the appointed day, express yourself, allow the results to be counted.
And that will be all on this episode of Roadmap 2015, but don't forget to send us your comments on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. Join us next week on another exciting episode of the program on Channels Television. Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashiru saying goodbye.